If you want this types of video, then subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon for latest updates.
And my dear students, I am back with a new lesson. In this video I will cover the basic principles and discourse of human development. So then let's start today's lesson without talking in vain. Introduction. The observe of human development is one of the maximum exciting and captivating fields of psychology. This topic is of terrific interest to maximum freshmen when they're first delivered to the difficulty of psychology. This is due to the fact novices can relate exceptional theories of psychology to their private experiential interactions. Their reports assist them apprehend how someone grows and matures. Through those stories they're also capable of recognize how a person grows and develops as a man or woman in exceptional cultures. In this manner additionally they develop their understanding round human. There has been a difference in reviews of diverse philosophers, sociologists and psychologists about human development. Extensive studies has been carried out in this problem, however, neither has any definition been given nor can it ever except in relation to the development of human. This is why, human improvement has constantly been a challenge of discussion amongst academicians. Which factors are extra vital in human development in evaluation to others, is tough to mention. A lot of research has been carried out on animals, and their conclusions are used to draw implications approximately the human development. That's completely unfair. Human development refers to adjustments in humans that are systematic, revolutionary and predictable. The procedure of change resulting from adulthood and nutrients may be termed as growth. The time period improvement, understood in a trendy experience, refers to a number of the modifications which have taken vicinity in mankind between theory and demise. The time period development does not embody all the modifications inside the man or woman, however simplest the ones changes which seem in a scientific manner and persist for a protracted time period. Development may be observed and may be measured to a degree. As a result of improvement, new characteristics and capabilities get up inside the baby. Temporary adjustments because of a quick infection can't be common as part of improvement. In everyday existence, human beings use the terms boom and development interchangeably. The peak, weight and many others of a baby are related to growth, which caused adjustments in any element and behavior of the kid's frame. The system of growth isn't always lifelong and it ends while the child attains adulthood. The changes that show up via increase may be visible with non-special effort, they also can be measured. It is not that if there's boom then there always is development. For instance, if the weight of a toddler will increase, it does no longer suggest an improved capability of that baby. Unlike increase, the phrase improvement includes a huge meaning. In this field, growth is embedded in development. Development does now not end when the kid matures, alternatively it continues all through life. There is genuinely an interdependent relationship between growth and improvement. Therefore, they're extensively utilized interchangeably. During the process of human improvement, many styles of development show up in individual, physical, intellectual, social, dynamic development, linguistic development and so forth. Physical development begins earlier than the kid is even born, from idea itself and keeps in the course of the existence of our individual, while relaxation of the development starts off evolved after start and keeps in the course of existence. Physical improvement is related to changes within the body. Social improvement refers to changes within the types of social interaction. Under this, the child works in line with the regulations, traditions and ideals of a society. In brief, social development is a process of gaining knowledge of social behavior. The intellectual improvement of a child is understood through the behavior generated with the aid of the child's motion reaction. Mental improvement brings modifications in child's wondering, know-how, reasoning, choice-making, trouble-solving, memorization, recognition, observation, presentation of mind etc. After beginning, baby's movement of arms and legs, raising the top, turning the neck and so on. are the sports which might be a part of dynamic development. The toddler gradually gains control over his nerves and muscle mass, and via adjusting these, child performs various bodily activities. Linguistic improvement of a baby starts with crying, guffawing, making distinctive sounds at the start of infancy. Gradually, the kid learns to apply letters, words, sentences, and so forth, and explicit feelings with the help of those. There had been many debates among students concerning human development. Some of them are nature vs nurture, continuity vs discontinuity, and established vs contextual. We will now apprehend those debates. Nature vs nurture. Growth, improvement, nurture and maturity are used interchangeably in ordinary existence, however all of them have special meanings. Maturity is very vital in improvement manner. Maturation refers back to the getting older technique, which makes complicated sports viable. Maturation in muscle mass takes place even when there may be no boom in a person's weight and peak. Maturity refers to the internal and qualitative order, change, that occurs obviously and spontaneously and to a big volume is genetically programmed. No external element impacts those changes, they occur in infant through maturity. The term adulthood is used on the attainment of a particular stage of development. We understand nurture within the context of environment. Except for genes, all other external factors, upbringing, tradition, training, society, and so forth, which have affected the character when you consider that start, is called environment. The term nurture refers to the fulfillment of physical. We can understand nature as someone's heredity, genes, organic strategies, maturity etc. During development, many adjustments arise due to maturity. There are also many changes which can be tormented by malnutrition or different diseases, however environment has much less effect on them. We can understand the bodily improvement of any man or woman in this category. Some adjustments throughout the improvement of a child are prompted via her neighborhood, media, surroundings and so on. They play a crucial position in shaping the character and in social development of the kid. In the context of human development, the question arises that which is more vital in the improvement of a baby, nature or surroundings? Nature encompasses heredity, genes, biological methods, adulthood and so on. And surroundings encompasses education, upbringing, way of life, social regulations and so forth. Today, the surroundings is taken into consideration vital for development, however organic factors and character variety is similarly essential. Most psychologists agree that both nature and nurture are vital for the improvement of a man or woman. None of those can be separated from human development. For instance, the type of response a baby with calm temperament will receive from her mother and father on her mischief, might be specific from the reaction a naughty child might also get. The examine of nature and nurture certainly indicates that increase depends on certain effects. The youngsters are comparable in some approaches no matter being special in many ways. Despite the difference in the intelligence and personalities of children, all of them behave as ordinary humans. Parents can also say that Praneet may be very special from his sister Divya, but nevertheless they each behave in a comparable fashion when it comes to their etiquettes and manners. Teachers also consider that youngsters should be visible as unique personalities, but we are able to see that anything is taught in a class, in school, its teaching system and content material stay the equal. There is hardly any scene version in it in step with the desires of different children. Nevertheless, the college also has some exact features, consisting of accepting differences, selling pursuits and presenting and surroundings for the development of unique capabilities. The development of the child's skills is determined by way of nature and nurture. Scientists, psychologists, docs, researchers, behaviorists and so on have debated in this subject. Psychologists, which include Jean-Jacques Rousseau and John Locke, believe that the kid is born as a blank slate, and their personality develops as a result of environmental effects. 20th century behavioral psychologist J.B. Watson has also shared his viewpoint on this regard. He additionally believed that the activities during childhood have more impact on us than our genes. Researches carried out by way of psychologists may be seen to recognize the importance of nature and nurture inside the method of improvement. Some of such studies are given in next phase of the Some studies on heredity and environment. Goddard studied Kalikak's circle of relatives. Martin Kalikak turned into a soldier who had marriages. His first wife turned into retarded and characterless. Of the 480 descendants of this spouse-descended dynasty, most effective 46 were everyday and straightforward. The relaxation were found to be prostitutes, drunkards, patients, retarded, delinquent and illegitimate youngsters. His second spouse turned into a girl of common intelligence and trustworthy. Of the 496 descendants of this girl-descended dynasty, only 5 had such flaws, the rest had been clever and dignified humans. This observe results in the conclusion that heredity is to a large volume liable for the personality and intellectual development of a person. Mangal, 2012, p. 70. In 1969 AD, Francis Galton selected 977 wise and eminent humans to look at and determined that 535 of their family were very outstanding and influential. He then selected 977 regular individuals to behavior comparative studies and discovered that most effective 4 relatives of those individuals have been clever and distinguished. After this study, he concluded that the qualities of intelligence and character are transferred by way of blood inside the child. Mangal, 2012, p. 74, Schweisinger studied 10 identical twins. One baby of every pair turned into brought up in one type of environment and some other child in one-of-a-kind surroundings. A comparative have a look at of each the kids of each pair as they got older determined that there has been no difference within the intelligence won through the 6 pairs of boys. While there has been a difference of 12 within the intelligence gained with the aid of the children of 2 pairs and 15 or 17 inside the final pairs. He concluded the facts acquired from this have a look at that heredity plays an essential role in figuring out the kid's intelligence and different characteristics associated with the character. Mangal, 2012, page 74. Newman, Freeman, and Halsinger took 10 pairs to examine same twins in 1937. Among those dual kids, who have been reared in the identical environment, there has been no sizable difference in their intelligence received as they grew up. On the other hand, good-sized differences were seen in the intelligence won by way of the twins who were reared in specific environments. On this basis, it turned into concluded that the surroundings of the kid is largely accountable for the persona tendencies and traits. Tuesday, 2012, p. 75. Psychologists, who comply with heredity and environment, prove their argument with the assist of the result of the various research conducted via them. If seen from an unbiased factor of view, each heredity and environment have an influence inside the development of a toddler. None of these can be separated from the improvement of our infant, just as both the seed and the land, surroundings, are critical for the growth of a plant. If both this type of two is misplaced, the plant cannot flourish. Inside the identical way each the heredity and the surroundings are essential for the increase of any man or woman. Yes, friends, how did you guys feel and how did you understand it? Tell it quickly in the comment section and let's start. The next topic is continuity vs discontinuity. Let's begin now. Continuity vs discontinuity. Is the method of human improvement as non-stop or does human development takes region in a discontinuous manner? The improvement of man's competencies appear suddenly or does it takes place constantly? There are differences among psychologists on these questions. To be seen objectively, some abilities of our infant increase continuously whereas a few competencies develop unexpectedly. Abilities advance all of sudden do now not require special attempt or exercise. Some changes that occur in adolescence are result of discontinuity, along with the development of fertility. It isn't that this potential could have been low earlier than and completely developed after achieving adolescence. Both qualitative and quantitative trends are slow. Qualitative development incorporates emotional development, linguistic improvement, social development, Quantitative improvement is associated with bodily improvement. This consists of peak of the child, her weight, manipulate over her very own nerves and muscular tissues, and many others. When a toddler executes a selected behavior, it does not suggest that such behavior is received all of sudden, as a substitute she starts off evolved getting to know that behavior from adolescence, and by the time she reaches childhood, he slowly profits expertise in it, whether or not it is emotional improvement, social improvement or every other sort of development. In linguistic development, the child learns to pay attention and talk at the start, then through education and exercise he learns to examine and write. Similarly, there are different qualitative traits including learning of social behavior. The baby does no longer abruptly start socializing, alternatively he first observes the behavior of the human beings of the society. He then begins to exercise social behaviors discovered through commentary. He learns a way to cope with elders, the way to treat kids of his very own age and a way to deal with the younger ones. Apart from this, he additionally learns a way to treat a boy and a female. Therefore, the behavior of a baby does now not seem all of sudden, rather, he grows up getting to know that behavior over a time. The adjustments happening all through the improvement of a child can be visible in two ways: qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative improvement can be visible to be related to continuity and quantitative improvement may be seen to be related to discontinuity. We can see qualitative and non-stop improvement just like walking on a ramp, which seems to be increasing continuously, while one could see quantitative improvement much like mountain climbing stairs. For example, with one step on staircase you abruptly step on the opposite step and move ahead. In terms of quantitative improvement, Piaget believed that development occurs from one stage to Piaget's concept explains the connection among cognitive development of the child and continuity. He believes that the improvement of any baby is discontinuous. He said, abilities are developed in child in line with age. Piaget has divided human improvement into 4 degrees. These tiers arise sequentially. That is, the child reaches stage 1 first, and then reaches to the second stage. For instance, first the sensory moves of the kid will increase. At this time he lacks language for his emotional expression. After this, the kid will input in pre-operational level in which he starts expressing his emotions through language. He identifies numerous items and starts to apprehend the distinction among them. Here, the child is capable of assume in a single course, he cannot awareness on extraordinary traits of an object at a time. At this time the child is more self-targeted, and Piaget known as it egocentric. After this stage, the kid reaches the concrete operational stage where his capacity to solve problems related to concrete truth develops. He learns to classify and differentiate. The infant then enters the stage of summary reasoning called level of formal operations, in which the kid begins to solve issues in an abstract way. On the alternative hand, there are a few psychologists who have a view opposite to that of Piaget. They, on the basis of getting to know theories, said that cognitive development is a continuous method. Now will we start on the topic of universal vs contextual. Let's begin now. Universal vs contextual. One of the maximum crucial debates in know how the idea of human improvement is popular as opposed to contextual improvement. Most psychologists, who discuss with development relative to the principle of stages, apprehend and give an explanation for the idea of improvement inside the realm of universality. This does not suggest that these psychologists regard social and cultural contexts as insignificant, but that they regard positive prescribed sorts of mental improvement as general, whether it's for bodily development or cognitive improvement. Piaget is one such psychologist who, while acknowledging the importance of contexts, defined improvement via some widespread degrees. Such as concrete operational stage will arise simplest after achieving to the according to operational level, and that is regardless of the effect of cultural contexts. The level of concrete operation within the cognitive development of the kid cannot get up before the stage of pre-operation. Similar concept of development in stages can be visible in the theories of Erikson, Kohlberg, and so on. There is also a collection of psychologists who oppose the regularly occurring concept of development. Among the psychologists who stand opposite to the concept of established improvement are Vygotsky, Brunner, etc. They regard psychological development as contextual and argue that the method of development takes shape mainly social, cultural and political contexts. The method of accommodating to the environment can never be general, as each socio-cultural context imposes structural and developmental roles on the kid's development. The interactions performed with those structures vary with space, time, state and many others. Therefore, the processes of development will be different. Apart from socio-cultural contexts, man or woman variations of a baby additionally venture the idea of normal development. This view believes that each toddler is unique with regards to his or her own development. This distinctiveness usually originates from contexts and additionally takes shape in those numerous contexts. In this type of scenario, common regulations of development do not show to be worthwhile and appropriate. Research works establish that the contexts of development of a potter's child and a medical doctor's toddler will range from each different in social, cultural and monetary terms. These versions also diversify the development of the kid. Approaches including social constructivism and located cognition additionally favor contextual ideals of improvement. Therefore, some psychologists remember the processes of development to be customary and some recollect it to be contextual. However, the mixture of these proves to be extra meaningful in developing information closer to the development of children. I will start on the topic of the principles of human development. Let's begin now. Principles of human development. In human development, is development of infants' abilities a non-stop system, or does the child reach from one level to another unexpectedly? How does development manifest? There is a war of words amongst psychologists in this debate. However, still there are some general regulations which are supported with the aid of psychologists. Development takes region in a certain direction. After numerous studies conducted through psychologists, it is able to be said that the bodily and mental improvement of the child, in the course of prenatal and postnatal, follows types of standards: the precept of improvement from head to toe, cephalocaudal principle, and precept of improvement from the closest the center or center outward, proximal-distal principle. These are referred to as concepts of developmental direction. According to the cephalocaudal precept, the physical improvement of the child takes place from head to foot. First, there may be development in the head and in its feature, then in the torso and its capabilities, and sooner or later the improvement occurs in feet and its functions. According to cephalocaudal precept improvement, the infant first increases its head, then begins to take a seat, and then he stands, and ultimately starts off. 2. According to the proximal-distal principle, infant begins developing from the center of the body towards out of doors. According to this principle, first the spine of the child is evolved, followed by using the fingers, arms, and sooner or later a majority of these increase together. Development takes vicinity at exceptional rates. It is not that best unique children have distinct codes of development. If we look at the physical development of a toddler, it does now not take place on the equal price in infant. Although increase is continuous, however its speed is not uniform in any respect years. In the start of infancy, this speed is speedy, but in later years it slows down. Early in formative years its pace will increase hastily, and after some time it turns into ordinary. Similarly, social improvement, intellectual improvement, linguistic development and so forth take region at different rates at distinctive degrees. There is character distinction in the development of youngsters. There is character variation in the development of kids. Their improvement is according with their personality. All of them circulate forward in a different way in unique areas of development. This is why huge variation can be visible in their improvement. We can say that no infant is identical to another baby with respect to the boom and improvement. You may also have visible examples of various costs of improvement for your classmate. A few college students are very mature in their wondering and social relationships, while some students may not be as excellent in social members of the family. Development is predictable. Psychologists accept as true with that development is predetermined. This is, you will are expecting the improvement of the child. Nowadays, with the assist of generation, we ourselves can see how we currently look and how we are able to observe the age of 60. It is based totally at the predetermined rule of improvement. Similarly, on the idea of the prevailing degree of intelligence of a baby, it may be anticipated what will be her intelligence stage in future. According to this rule, after taking our infant's body's X-rays, a prediction may be made concerning the form and sort of her body later. In the prenatal duration and after birth, improvement takes location in a selected series, that is why it's far predetermined. In the prenatal period, certain characteristics seem within the infant at a given time, and a similar pattern of improvement may be seen even after beginning. Therefore, it could be predicted. Development is continuous. The precept of continuity states that improvement is an ongoing system. That as, the kid's improvement is continuous, it does no longer prevent. The procedure of improvement of our infant begins from theory and continues in the course of the existence. From a small mobile, the existence of any toddler starts off evolved, and the improvement of all factors of his character, bodily, social, intellectual, and many others, reaches its height because of this continuity. Physical and intellectual abilities maintain developing slowly till those attain their maximum evolved stage. This technique continues throughout lifestyles. The technique of development does no longer prevent even after attaining much. Development is sequential. It is known that the pace of improvement isn't always uniform among all kids, and character differences exist on this manner. Despite this, symptoms of uniformity may be visible inside the series of improvement. Most psychologists agree that improvement is sequential. Each species, whether animal or human, follows a sample of improvement. In fashionable, this sample is the identical for all people. We can without problems locate the similarities and traits of the participants of the same species inside the orderly collection of development. Certain series can also be seen in the dynamic improvement and language improvement of the child. Similarly, the kid crawls first, then stands up and then starts walking. This is why the kid babbles earlier than talking, and then uses one or two characters, observed through the words and sentences. It isn't feasible for a child to specify his feelings through talking a sentence at once, and it is also no longer feasible for a kid to begin on foot or going for walks at once after delivery. Development progresses from general to particular. The infant performs standard moves earlier than acting particular movements in all regions of improvement. For instance, earlier than keeping an object in hand, he attempts to extend his hand toward that item. Similarly, while the child cries at the beginning of infancy, his whole frame, arms, toes, head and so on, are also included in it. Later, via development, this crying will become distinctive. Handiest tears come out of his eyes at the same time as crying, and his speech machine gets, sore throat, affected. Also, via the linguistic improvement of the child, we are able to keep in mind that he makes use of commonplace phrases first, after which uses precise phrases, proverbs, idioms and so on. At the start of infancy, infant calls all men as fathers and women as moms, and later makes use of these phrases only for the dad and mom. In all regions of improvement, trendy interest continually precedes specific hobby. In relation to emotional behavior, the little one behaves atypical and uncommon as an ordinary fear reaction. Later, their worry responses emerge as more unique, which includes crying, getting away and hiding. All factors of improvement are interrelated. All aspects of improvement, physical, mental, social, linguistic and many others, are interrelated. Social and mental development of baby additionally happens simultaneously with bodily development. It is not possible that at first there's handiest physical development, and later there is any other kind of development. Development in a single region has complete capacity to persuade the development taking place in different area of a baby improvement. For instance, children with above average intelligence are normally far beforehand in social and mental development in comparison with other children. Conversely, if there may be a deficiency in one aspect of improvement, then it proves to be a quandary in the development of different aspects of improvement. This is the motive why the children who lack in phases of intellectual improvement are discovered to be lacking in their social and linguistic. Educational implications of the study of human development. After analyzing the above concepts of human improvement, we will imagine how critical these principles are from the educational point of view. Their implications can be understood by the subsequent factors. It suggests that the rate and amount of improvement isn't always uniform in all youngsters. Therefore, retaining in thoughts the character differences, we ought to not count on the identical improvement in all children. It facilitates us to count on or predict the destiny progress of the development of youngsters, so that we do no longer have unrealistic expectations from them. With the help of this, kids can be stored from needless labor and sacrifice. Rules associated with development indicate that a few similarities associated with development are determined in kids. We can contend with whether the child is growing in a manner as he have to in that specific level or age, and by estimating the normality and abnormality within the infant, assistance may be provided for appropriate development. All factors of development, i.e. mental development, social development, physical improvement, linguistic improvement and so on, are associated with every different. Keeping this in thoughts, we have to awareness at the all-round development of the kid. Ignoring anybody component of development can reason hindrance in progress of other elements of improvement. The information of this is recognized to us through the precept of interrelation. Both heredity and environment play a crucial role in baby development. Therefore, we have to deliver vital improvement within the environment of the child in order that he can broaden his abilities as a lot as possible. What type of adulthood might be performed by using the kid in a selected age is also recognized from the look at of human development, especially knowing the order of improvement of the child. The want of steerage for the improvement of the child becomes clean.